Evening, everybody. How are you doing? How are you doing? So today was a daily loss limit type of day for me, and quite a few takeaways. So I'm actually glad I'm able to learn from this. And if I could summarize this day is getting caught up in chop and failed to realize that I had a conflicting bias. Right. So coming into the day, I noticed a few things. Right. So and 4 hour intermediate low here. Okay. So what was I seeing here? Okay. So NQ swept this 4 hour intermediate low. Okay. During pre-market. Okay. So we're sweeping that. Oh, okay. I'm getting ahead of myself. So for context, right? I had a bearish bias coming into the day initially, and if I stuck to that, I would have been fine. But a couple things made me not want to be bearish. Okay. So I liked how overnight inventory, so overnight volume profile, overnight price action, whatever you want to call it, looked like the POC aligned with a 1 hour gap here, right? So I should have thought in terms of, okay, if I'm looking for longs, what are my targets? How far do I see this going, right? If I'm looking for shorts, how far do I see this going? I feel like that's one thing, right? Because for shorts, I even told myself from London High, it looks like we've been selling off, right? For starters, and we swept that 4 hour intermediate low down like 300 points, 370 points, something like that, right before open from London High. And I said I could look for continuation shorts towards previous day's low. So this, if you're thinking it in terms of, okay, you know, you could trade towards that. You could also trade towards this unfilled 1 hour. And towards the unfilled 1 hour, it's like what? 125 points. I feel like that's achievable. And then all the way down here to the previous low, it's another 360 points. So it's a bit more far fetched, right? So maybe that's something that's preventing you from taking shorts. Obviously, you don't want to just hop on the short immediately. You want to see price tell you something. So yeah. Then pre-stage range stat. So if we go to the daily, that's one thing, right? Think in terms of how far do you see price going? What's your target? But yeah, that's one takeaway, and I'll explain how that holds relevance here in a second. But the daily, we tapped into this daily gap, and I marked it out here, right? I marked it out because it was a 15-minute low volume node. If we look at a volume profile for, I want to say like the previous week. Yeah. So clear low volume node, traded into it, selling off. Okay. So clear low volume node there. I marked out previous week's POC, previous week's value area high, previous week's value area low. Marked out my drawdown liquidity as well. Yeah. So I said price is respecting a daily fair value gap, which is a low volume node on the weekly profile. On Friday, we did sweep previous week's low and had an insanely strong trend day. So I was aware of the trend day. And we also put in an SMT with that low versus ES. So this sweep right here has been SMT'd, right? I believe. Yeah. SMT right there. Okay. So you could see that. That's a reason for you to not go long. We're also sweeping this on ES. Cool. Then that was pretty much my context. I was bearish, looking for previous day's low, previous week's low. Okay. And then off open, we just started ripping. And we reached overnight VWAP. I didn't really like this trade location, um, especially because of how like strong this momentum was, right? So I kind of wanted to see what price did for a little bit, see if we got some structure in our favor. This just continued. Oh wait, I'm actually showing the 50-minute. That's not what I meant to do. So yeah, the first 5-minute candle looked like that. Okay, reach overnight VWAP, kind of retested there, and then continue higher. So I'm like, okay, this is the longs here are playing out. This is very close to open. This is within the first 15 minutes of open. If you caught this, great job. Me personally, have not had that great of an experience trading close to the open. There's been very few. This to me didn't look like one of those opportunities, especially since I had a bearish bias coming into the day, right? Since we're respecting this resistance zone, pretty massive resistance zone, daily fair value gap, 15-minute low volume node from the weekly profile. So yeah, didn't want to trade that. Wanted to trade shorts, but I didn't want to short this. I didn't want to short immediately there. So what I liked here was being like, okay, if long as you're playing out, how far do I see this going? Either true day, London high, or this 1 hour gap. And then we reached this 1 hour gap. Instead of looking for an entry here, I was waiting for a retrace for longs. I wanted to play the IB. We're also well above. We left low volume notes along the way, and this is another thing here, right? So for starters, I said, think in terms of if you want to see either longs or shorts, either side, whichever side you're seeing, how far do you see that going, right? I should have been more aware of how far I saw the longs playing out to, right? If I see like a sweep of London high, then okay, cool. We can trade towards unfilled gaps for the New York session, right? If we trade towards this resistance zone and maybe sweep true day, that's another thing. I just didn't realize how we respected. I was unaware of time because I wasn't aware that this was really close to the 1 hour closing candle. So the time at which we close the 1 hour candle, which is 10 a.m. So I should have been more aware of that because this ended up getting respected very nicely, right? So we actually ended up closing this 1 hour candle 50 points off of that 1 hour gap. So that right off the bat should tell you, okay, shorts could play here. We also got a 5-minute inversion there. Maybe that's an entry for you. And I should not be afraid to trade the retrace. That's something I noted. So I initially recorded this video, and then I'm like, I'm gonna actually do it again because I realized something else. I could have played the retrace. Because you see this move, right? And can't really be afraid of volatility because volatility is crazy these days. It's been very volatile. It's been a theme, right? The market's moving a lot. And with data coming out this week, since the government shutdown has ended, it's going to be even more crazy. Or crazier. Sorry. But yeah, we even have NVIDIA earnings this week, so it'll be insane. An insane week. Crazy week. Definitely going to have to be very cautious. But yeah, it's a theme, right? It's a theme. We're up 300 points. We could easily retrace half of that. We could continue higher, right? Either way, I could play the retrace, right? If this is a trend day and I played the retrace, and okay, yeah, I tried to play, but here we're failing at that point of control for the session. We're respecting that 1 hour gap. That's enough for you to look for something. Fail buying, break on the tick chart, and just trade towards the low volume notes that I mentioned earlier. We left low volume notes along the way. Trade towards them. I've done that before, and it's played out very well. But yeah, I know a trade like this, something like this, would have played out very nicely towards a full fill of that gap. Like, boom, 100 points, just like that. So that's one thing, right? I personally, like I said, was looking for a retrace. Okay, so this actually ended up reaching the 0.5. If we look at a fib for the New York range, this reached the 0.5. We can remove the 382 because we don't really use it there. But we reached the 0.5. We wick it very nicely. Um, not that nice, but we wick it. And yeah, I saw. Let me see if I can pull it up. I think it's this screenshot. Yeah. I think it's this one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we reached the low volume node that I have marked out. New York VWAP, got below it, and like started recovering above it, kind of sustaining it a little bit. So my entry was somewhere up here, I think. Let me see. It ended up getting swept out, as you saw the other candle, but 149.50, and my stop was at the wick. So 149.50. Oh, no, sorry, intraday. I'm actually okay, pretty okay with this loss, because I'm playing the IB, going off of VWAP. We broke above overnight VWAP, kind of getting below it for a little bit. So this is where I want to see a reaction, right? And at this point, we're inside a 50-minute gap as well. So we're also like in this gap right here. It is bullish. So we'll extend this out over here, and we'll say this is a 50-minute FEG. And we know there's low volume nodes along the way. But this ended up stopping me out pretty quickly. And it only looked good for a little bit there. Like, we got a reaction. This is the 1-minute chart. So we only got like a little bit of a reaction, and then we failed immediately. So yeah, I'm okay with this loss because I feel like it aligns pretty well with my strat. I was following momentum, right? And then we just failed. I'm like, okay, cool. Then we reached the 618. But then again, this trade doesn't really look good to me because we're well below VWAP. So it's harder for me to trade this, in my opinion. Yeah. And then we actually get a retest of VWAP here. And you can see clearly in the 5-minute we don't close there. We're still holding that over session POC. And here is what I saw on Bookmap right here. Okay. So what is this picture telling me? Oh, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to close the other one. Here we go. What is this picture telling me? Right? There's still a low volume node right under us, right? Which is something that I want to trade off of. And it's just not being afraid of this. Like, we're sustaining that VWAP once, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like maybe 6 times. Like, we're testing it multiple times, right? And we start failing. And what I saw here on the tick chart was this was probably one of the best trades. Saw this stall out and then break out with strength. That's when I entered, saw a little bit of drawdown, and then started reacting nicely. And this trade was okay, and I could have played this better 2 different ways in my eyes. So for one, I got a pretty decent entry, I'd say. So my stop was, I can't remember exactly where it was. I can try to find it. Yeah. 148.75, 118.75, so 118.75 to 148.75, I think. So my stop was a pretty nice stop, not gonna lie. 148.75. Yeah, 30-point stop. So this actually looked pretty nice. And I think I was starting like all the way down here, right? But that's like far fetched in my eyes. Like, this is hindsight speaking, obviously. But what I'm thinking here is this was looking good for, like, this looked insanely good, right? Even looking at the tick chart on here. Let me see really quick. You see that it looked really nice. And I told myself, I want to keep an eye on how price reacts at this low. The low that reacted at the 618, right? Because to me, it's saying, okay, if we fail at VWAP here, it's telling me the fibs are not giving me a good enough reaction. And I want to fade the IB, right? Because at this point, we're pretty close to setting the IB. We've already set the 45-minute IB. So we're fading the first break of the IB, which in this case, it's telling me that it's more likely to break the high, so we're fading that. So yeah. This could have been played two ways. Maybe that first break of the VWAP, keep your stop up there. I think you wouldn't have gotten stopped out. Or completely take it off at this low for a scalp type of trade. Catch 58 points, nearly a 1.2 R. That would have put me at a positive day. That would have put me green on the day, right? But I didn't. I decided to, trail. I think I put my target, I think I put it at like a fixed 2R or something. I can't remember how exactly it was, but yeah, I decided to put it at a 2.05R. Oh, 114. Sorry, that's a mistake on my part. That I was looking at price. 114.75. So my entry was like 4 points lower. So yeah, 1.59R, and I put my a limit buy at 2R, and to take partials and then leave a runner. And when it broke this low, I decided to go break even and got stopped out of break even. So I think this is where my direction started failing, because now I could see either side playing out, and I am not in a position where I see a clear zone that's telling me go one side or the other, right? For instance, this 50-minute gap, what's it telling us? How does it look? It looks like it's holding, right? It looks like it's holding here. But what's the VWAP telling me? We're below it. We're sustaining below it. We actually tried to get above overnight VWAP. We were above it and then failed. So we were above near VWAP and now we're below it, sustaining below it. So my technicals are not in alignment with my order flow confluences. In this case, the VWAP, right? So I'm like, I did not realize this in the moment, and decided to go for two other dumb trades. So the first one was this one. Saw that retest of VWAP initially. That was that first short. So the first long we knew it was like back here when we were breaking above VWAP. Then we saw a retest of it after failing. Tried to short, got stopped out of break even. Then we retested again, try to get above it and then fail. Then we see the sellers come in, retest them, and that's when I enter a short. Okay? So that's when I enter a short, and that's where I feel like that trade idea was okay. I'd say at most it was okay. So this was the entry. Okay? Not the best entry. That failed buying that I said, retested of the sellers, because this is a tick chart. It looks pretty similar, right? Fixed stop at 300, I believe, and entry at 25.071. 25.071. So it is on the lower end of this range now. like if you look at a range, and then there, and my stop was 146. Goes up here. I think I was aiming for something like this. Can't remember exactly what it was. And actually look at this. It got stopped out. You can see here, but yeah, 137. Okay, my stop was actually at the bodies of these. So because okay, that's what we did. We retest VWAP and then fail immediately. Immediately, my entry was on this next candle. And I thought we were gonna get the breakout here, right? This is a kind of like a breakout of the range type of trade because at this point, it looks like a barcode on the 5 minute, and then we just get stopped out like this. Just didn't follow through, right? Didn't follow through. The problem with this trade is I feel like in terms of entry confluences, it's there, but the trade location isn't the best. I'm not thinking in terms of clear direction. Like it's not at this point. It's not clear enough, right? So I could see this as just I've spiraled into not having clear direction, right? The problem was the root cause of all this is not realizing that this long play of the sweep, like it ended once we reached that 1 hour gap, right? I feel like it's just I kind of put to the side some of the confluences that I use. I don't even know why. If I'm being honest with you, it's kind of crazy to me at this point. But this is the next trade that I saw, which was a long, right? So we had a lot of selling here, a lot of selling, and our CBD was curling higher. We were breaking through VWAP, so I tried a long. And I think it was here. You can actually find the entry. 146.75. So it's actually pretty close to where my stop loss was on that other one. 146.75, and then the stop I think was like all the way down here. 146.75. And I'm pretty sure I was targeting like Crew Day or maybe even London High, whatever. Either way, this did not play out. Yeah, and actually the entry happened in this candle. So, two things. One, I could have called it at the third trade. Even though it was one break even, two loss, and in terms of daily loss capital, I still had some left. I could have called it there. Because at this point, I'm like well aware that I'm fading the IB, right? If you want to find the shorts, play the retrace. You want to get in up here, right? You want to get in up there, right? Thinking of playing the retrace, too late to do it here. At this point, you're playing the range, kind of short the highs, long the lows, and I just didn't. I was shorting close to the lows, longing close to the highs, expecting a breakout, and I was not getting it. If we ended up breaking out to the downside, yes. So that first short that I took would have paid. We actually ended up getting that IB low break. It was a slow break, but it happened. And yeah, I learned my lesson today. So I failed to realize that I had conflicting bias. What am I going to learn and implement from that is I'll start adding clear direction as a question to my pre-market checklist. So just basically say, do I have clear direction? Yes or no? Okay. How do I frame both sides? That's it. That's it. Just think of clear direction. If I can frame both sides, okay. let's say, am I looking for an initiation move? If the initiation move is not, you know, convincing enough, right? This long down here was not convincing enough for me. Very close to the open. Um, like it was within the first 5 minutes of open that the ideal entry happened. Um, and yeah, so there's that, and then it's just the sweep of a forward intermediate low on a bearish trend. So to me, I'm like, okay, this is not convincing. Cool. What I want to see for longs to take place: good displacement, structure forming in my favor, a solid retrace, and then continuation. But we got displacement and then an aggressive sell off of that gap. Like that's 200 points. You know what I mean? It's thinking in terms of if I wanted to catch this long, I wanted to catch it before it reached that 1 hour gap. It's just basically thinking in terms of the targets for each trade idea, right? I feel like this, you know, that first trade, the first long, I'm actually like, even though the first target has been reached, but I do have a statistical target, which is short A open. But then it's just like, I should have just sat on my hands. Take the loss and wait. Just wait. That VWAP play, you know, I'm going against the momentum, so I had to be more conservative with my targets. And I just wasn't. But that's just me being a dumbass. Um, so yeah, there's that. And then, yeah, since I wanted to see a retrace before longing, so this is a conclusion that I got from today, that I could have played the retrace. Because if I want to short this momentum, I'm playing the retrace, right? I gotta be very good with trade location. Up here is great trade location, because it's at a high time frame confluence. It was at the current POC, right? So it's good trade location. We're failing, so we're getting good trade location there. And yeah, there's that. And then since I wanted to see a retrace before longing, I could have played the retrace towards the VWAPs, towards those low volume nodes that I have marked out. The gaps, even. Like the 15-minute gap. Maybe even a 5-minute gap, right? So that's one lesson there. Yeah, just gotta keep the what type of trade am I taking? That type of mindset, gotta keep it locked in throughout the session. What is this type of trade? Just really keep in mind like the framing for it. I feel like my framing today fell off after the second trade. Those last two trades, not really the best framing. Just influenced by other people's opinions and not the best, truly. Not poor, very poor trade location in my eyes. Um, but yeah, it's a lot to take in. And this was definitely a type of day that the end result affected me emotionally, and I had to take, like, I was fucking pissed off. I was pissed off at the end of the day. Um, and yeah, I mean, now the best thing to do is just learn from it. I feel like I have pretty good lessons to learn from this trading day, and now I just have to freaking do my best to keep going. Because at the end of the day, if I look at my stats for this account, I'm 600 down. One trade can help me recover that, right? Obviously, in terms of the max loss limit, I was up at a certain time, so this loss puts me even like with less drawdown. But it's not the end of the world. It's one DLL day. Like look at the calendar. It's one DLL day. Up 500, down 400, down $120, up $1, up 260. So yeah, it's been kind of smaller days. This is a standout day on the downside, on the drawdown type of day. So now we just kind of have to do our best, and we'll either get a base hit or a standout winning day. Whichever it is, I'll take it, right? I feel like it's recoverable. It's not the end of the world. We can recover from this, right? And yeah, we will try our best to keep going. We'll try our best to keep going because there's no reason for us to let ourselves be influenced by whatever happened today. I'm a journalist and learn from it, right? I feel like the lessons are pretty valuable. I hope that you found them to be valuable. Maybe you can relate this to your trading, right? Kind of like that mindset of having clear direction, playing the retrace, having good trade location, those type of things. Um, yeah, at the end of the day, it's 3 losses, 1 break even, and I locked myself out because my dumbass decided at a certain point. That's another thing that I forgot to mention. At a certain point, I removed my DLL, my personal DLL, um, and kept trading because I figured that last trade, I'm like, okay, this could play out. I figured it could play out, and then I said this could stop me out before hitting my stop loss. Moved it, ended up not hitting that DLL, and it just locked out, and I was pretty close to hitting it anyways. But yeah, if we get 2 more of these days, then we're done because we'd be hitting 6 losses in a row, which is statistically it is unlikely, but we just gotta be on top of it. We just gotta be very picky with our trades, and I think we can pull it off. I'm pretty sure we can pull it off. All right, y'all. So hopefully y'all enjoyed today's video. Hopefully you got some value from it. I know I for sure did. And thank y'all for watching. Like, comment, maybe leave your thoughts on what you thought. Maybe you can just say you had a bullshit day. I'll take it. But yeah, pretty disgusting day to say the least. But it is what it is. It happens, and we learn from it. So tomorrow's a new day. I let myself feel the emotions that I got from today after the fact, and yeah, we will learn from it. We'll learn from it. So yeah. Whew. Hopefully you'll enjoy today's video, and hopefully I'll catch y'all tomorrow with a banger trade. Alright, y'all. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.